Yo, check this out. Sit down. The lesson begins now.
We are live on the mic.
The crowd favorite, DJ Deuce, is in the building.
Hello. I'm DJ Deuce. I'm here with my good friend Tora. How you doing, Tora?
Hi, good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy to have you on. You're one of my favorite guests. You're the ones that you speak the truth. That's why I like to have you on.
Oh, thank you.
It's always a pleasure. So I was just looking through your Instagram. You have a new single out?
Yeah. Well, I have a couple new singles out. I just released one a month ago and then one yesterday.
Yeah. Damn. Yesterday, yeah. 'Cause I was looking. I was like, good for you. Good for you. How's the music industry going for you? Still struggling a little bit. Still banging out and grinding.
Yeah, you know.
I was just talking to a friend at dinner, singer-songwriter writer from my city, right? She just had an EP out, and she pulls around, she looks at me, she's like, I work so hard, what does it take? And I said, I don't know, T-Pain said it was $250,000. Her husband's like, fuck that. I wanted to ask you a question. I'm not trying to start beef with anybody. Is there anyone on the fucking radio that you can't stand that made it?
Oh, gosh. Like an abundance of people. I feel like whoever, I don't know, like those artists that call themselves artists, but they don't write any of their music. They don't choreograph anything. They don't
Yeah.
perform the music. So, and then they have people in the studio telling them how to sing the music.
True.
And telling them how to act and what their brand is going to represent. So I don't know if like true artists, like there's a a couple handfuls of like true artists that are really out there making their art from their experiences and from who they are and from the soul. But the industry has just become kind of flooded with these false entities, these they're like empty vessels, you know what I mean? They're so lifeless.
It's funny you say that because I remember I'm actually DJing at the end of this month. I'm actually, a friend of mine's like, just fucking break out of retirement, come out and help us. Our city's boring. And we've been to a couple events and I was like, you know what? I'm not too excited. I might get excited when I get back on, but I'm not too excited to be back. But I just remembered for 3 years, I literally didn't put the radio on. I just avoided music. Every day it was music. And to the point where I knew every song. I knew every song's BPM. I knew everything. I was an overload of stuff, right? 3 years later, I turned the radio on and it's the same goddamn songs that were on 3 years ago when I was listening to the radio. And I was not impressed. I was like, wow, does it ever change? It was still the same fucking rotation, it felt like, and nothing's changed. And today's day and age, there's been more music out there than ever. But for some reason, these goddamn radio stations, gatekeepers, keep it in that small box. And I'm not impressed. I'm like, well, there's so much more talent out there. What's your reasoning? Is it just money keeping it in rotation? Is that what it is?
Well, I don't know if you noticed that music, as the years go by, it gets dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber, right?
Yeah, okay.
Society has to keep up with how dumb that is. So it's almost like everybody's not matching what society should be because we're limited.
Mm-hmm.
There's artists that are intellectual and that are really speaking on like change and like big like life issues and using their influence, using their power to like influence and motivate people to try to be better people in this world. You know what I mean? But it's like so swallowed up by the money, and as the music goes along down this road, it's chasing money. So where the money's being spent, which is usually a younger audience, and as our audience gets dumber and dumber, the music is going to get dumber because they're following each other. And so the only way to change society is to keep up on the music, staying intellectual, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the same way, keeping up with the music, staying intellectual, you gotta you have to involve more intellectual people. Like how they say, surround yourself with people that you want to be like. You know what I mean?
That's
It's
right.
kind of the same idea.
What was like, because there was a conspiracy, there's conspiracies about everything, right? And there was the Taylor Swift and then the Kelsey football player, saying that it was a made up couple because they both work for Pfizer. Like, when you start looking at stuff like that and money like that, do you think shit like that really is really real? Like, it's like just made up just for, you know what I mean? The pop star and the NFL player, like,
I think it's a fine line that's blown out of proportion because it's like the telephone game. You know
true.
what I mean? So, I mean, it could have been something as simple as maybe they were set up as a couple, but not necessarily for the reasons that the world is, or the
Like the coincidence, right?
right. So it might have been just like maybe she was looking for romance and somebody thought that they'd be perfect couple and they happen to work for the same situation. So they were introduce these people. And, if you were Taylor Swift and that dude, like who wouldn't get together? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
that makes
they're
sense. Yeah.
a couple, they're probably super like into each other. So it's just like, I don't think it was set up by like this weird
There's always a conspiracy. They're
conspiracy.
Democrats and they're both Pfizer.
I mean, then at the same time, it could have been someone in the background setting it up and they didn't even know it was set up.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's true. What about the Puff Daddy stuff? Have you heard any of this stuff?
Oh yeah, but you know what? We've been hearing about him being a scandalous ass dude since the 90s.
That's
and
right.
no say anything about it because he was so powerful in the industry. And finally, a woman just doesn't want to hold back anymore.
Yeah.
Whoever doesn't want to hold back anymore and says something and then convinces other people to talk about their experiences. And I feel like we kind of knew he was this type of dude.
Yeah, I
No,
wasn't
I'm not
surprised.
me like in the 90s. I was 10, so like
Yeah, no, I get it.
society.
I get it. I get it. I get it.
Yeah, the public I think was pretty. He had all these young girlfriends, had so many of them, always hopping around, always like some cute little artist that he's trying to sign, right? So it's like y'all didn't see that,
He's one of those guys. I wasn't surprised.
like
Yeah, I wasn't surprised when
girl, in order for y'all to see that.
I agree. I completely agree. It's one of those things like, have you heard? And I'm like, are you really surprised? Like Keefe D writes a book, gets arrested for Tupac's murder, mentions that Puff's a part of it, and nothing happens. If you and I were a part of Tupac's murder, we're getting arrested, right?
Bro, we would be in jail for the rest of our life.
Like, I'm sitting here going, there's a book and admitting and it's published, and the one guy's in jail saying, yeah, he was supposed to pay me $1 million, and they're just like, huh. And it's like, cool, we all had a thought that it was him, but now people are saying it and nothing happens. And I'm sitting there going, fuck, it's bananas.
I think it goes deeper than that. Like, where's the evidence and what does that look like? Because
True.
if they have something solid, there's
Yeah.
no case. They can't just be like, oh, this book of you admitting, like, it's like, well, if I go in and say, oh, I killed Shirlene situation, they're gonna
Yes.
be like, where's the body?
That's right.
Because,
That's right.
You killed somebody and we can talk to you about it and hold you, but like we can't.
Yeah. I could write a book of lies, right? And then
Right.
and see what happens. But we all have that idea that he was a part of this, and it's just. But it was like nothing was mentioned. They were just like, huh, Keefe D went to jail, and then everything was just like, okay. And then he's like beating up Cassie on videos, and it's like they invaded his house, and then it's like, okay. And I'm sitting there going, fuck, this is one powerful dude, man. Straight up, like.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's the music industry. We all know it's always been a shady business. Obviously,
Right.
you've been into it a little more than most of us would be. There's probably a bunch of Puff Daddies out there, to be honest with you, right? Like,
Oh yeah, like it's almost like you have to swim through the Puff Daddies in order to get to the real daddies. If that makes
it's
yeah, but
it all makes sense though. It's like he went from Puff Daddy to P Diddy, and I'm like, is that because he went younger? I don't know. I was like, damn, bro. The music industry it's just been an interesting business overall. Like, I don't know. Like, I wanted to ask you okay, what if I booked you for a show? Okay, I just wanted your opinion on this. I was at a Lloyd Banks show. A DJ of mine invited me where I was backstage, and they had like a fucking billion opening acts that killed the vibe, like
Yeah.
completely, like, and was like, bro, how many more? And he's like, three. I'm like, three more? We have to go through three more of this? But anyways, besides the case, the sound system was shit. How do you deal with that as an artist?
Gosh, you know how to run your own sound. And you kick that guy off when you go on. You say, hey, when I go on stage, you're going to go off stage. And I'm
I
going to go.
just found could it be the equipment itself? Because I found the monitors weren't so bad. Like it tricked you as an artist because I was backstage. But I was like, I want to see Lloyd Banks. Fuck, I don't want to see him from the side, right? So I'm like, oh fuck, I'm gonna go out in the back and check him out. So I went back in the public area, and I went back there, and I was just like, fucking sounds like crap. And my buddy's like, it's been sounding like this all fucking night, and I was like,
Yeah.
this is terrible. How do people put up with that shit?
Yeah, it sometimes, I mean, the equipment has something to do with it, but at the same time, if you're a really dope sound person and you know how to finagle that board and there's a full board there,
Yeah, there was, yeah,
like there you really don't have a lot of an excuse. If unless those speakers are blown. If the speakers are blown, it's gonna sound like shit no matter what you do.
yeah.
But, like as an artist, I have a little PA system that cost me, I think it cost me like 150, $200. It's a full PA system. It has a bunch of and I could feed anything through it. Have two big speakers that like can go pretty far.
Yeah,
It's like, is that bad, dude? Bring your own speakers.
I agree. If you care about your sound and care about your product, yeah, I would advise you to bring your own speakers. You're right, because this was one of those shows. I went to the Slick Rick concert maybe a month before, and then I get invited to the Lloyd Banks, and I was just like, I'm gonna go check out Lloyd Banks, but I didn't know there was like it would end up being on our like your Fourth of July is our Canada Day was July 1st, so it ended up being on the same day. And I get there. We have to get there a little early because traffic gets a little. Because I lived in the capital, that everyone comes here, so get there a little early. And now you're just like watching sound check, and there's so many fucking guys that was on there. I was like, what is with all the opening acts? And the guy's like, oh, ticket sales, help with ticket sales. And I'm like, yeah, but it also waters down the show. It's shit.
Yeah.
So if I'm there early and I gotta watch, I have to go through a couple hours of garbage to get to Lloyd. I didn't even stay. I stayed 3, 4 songs. I said, fuck it, I gotta go. I was tired of being there. Standing up for 4 or 5 hours. Lloyd gets on. He's pretty good at the crowd. You can tell he's a pro. And I was like, fuck this. I was out of here. I was out of here. The Slick Rick concert, though? Slick
It's
Rick,
like,
he shouldn't perform anymore.
oh, really? He's off.
No. He's what? They said he was 59. He looked like he was 79 on stage.
Dang.
DJ Chaos's DJ was super dope. Me and him hung out. Super cool guy. But man, what like watching that on stage, it was like, oh God. It was yeah. I don't know what I would like if I paid for that ticket and sat there and waited for it. I would have been very, very disappointed.
Right.
Have you ever been to a concert? What was your favorite? What was your most disappointing one? Have you ever had a situation like that?
And I've been to thousands of concerts.
See, I avoid all that. I hate humans. I can't be around them, so I can't go to concerts.
I think I've had a lot of really good concerts. Um and then there's concerts, and then there's like the festivals where it's like
Mhm.
20 of your favorite bands, and you just go out into this crazy field and you just go to different stages and
Yeah.
watch all
We're having that right now in our state. It's called Blues Fest every year.
Oh, that's
Huge. It's huge. Yeah, 50 Cent was here like 2 days ago or something like that. Like it's all day, 3 stages, and it's like 20, 30,000 people.
get me booked on one of those things.
I should. Let me see what I can do. Yeah, let me see what absolutely I can definitely pull that off. Now, a
But
lot of people are gonna get mad at me that I said I'm gonna pull that off for you, but I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Tora's a little more famous than you guys. My bad. My bad. People were like, "What about me?" But yeah, let me. Yeah, I probably could work that out. Yeah, for sure.
okay.
I,
As
they,
for con- my favorite, I love Mariah Carey. I'm like obsessed with
Mhm.
her. One and only person that like I get starstruck around. Um, I've been to two of her concerts, and it's just the most like it's just so precious the way she does it, and the way she is as a person. Her like from her soul to her mannerisms to
Mhm.
like knowing because I just know like I've loved her since the very beginning. So
Oh, for sure.
I I know her story. I relate to her story, and I treasure her so much as a person. Um, and so just seeing her live and seeing just how she holds herself on that stage, and how she even treats her voice, just how she is. It's just
Yeah.
love her. She's amazing, and she's amazing to watch. Um, my very first concert, I was 13. I think I was
Mm.
13, and it was in sync.
Oh, that's dope.
Crazy. My mom and I entered this concert contest to
Yeah.
win tickets to the concert, and it was like through a radio station. It was like you perform one of NSYNC songs, and then the best one or the funniest one or whatever wins.
Okay.
And so we performed a song for this little contest. We didn't make it. My mom's like super shy, but it was really cute. It was a really cute thing that we did together.
That's
And
dope.
my friends' moms ended up buying me a ticket because it was on my birthday. It was
Oh,
literally.
get the fuck out. That's
And
so
so
cool.
one of my friends' moms bought me a ticket because she was taking all the girls from my little dance group that I was in. And so she bought me a ticket for my birthday, and that was my first concert I went to.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I try to avoid concerts. It's not that I try to avoid. That's complete lies. I try to avoid human beings. Okay, I am very like
That part.
I'm the fuck. Call me a snob. They're like, do you have a box? I only get invited to box seats because that's the only time I'll go. Events, football events, like box seats. I just don't want to be with the general public. I don't know what it is. Know what it is? There's always a jerk acting up, and I want to yell, "Shut up!" You know what I mean? And I know it's gonna cause a fight. So I'm like, I don't want to ruin anybody's experience about anything. So stick me in a box quietly up there, and I'm good. I'm good. But my first concert was actually 50 Cent's first tour. That was my first concert. A buddy of mine's like, I bought tickets. You got to come. And he was from out of town. So he came and I was like, fuck, I got to go in the general public. Fuck my life. And a buddy of mine called me. He's like, I got a box. I'm like, well, I already got tickets. He's like, no, just come in with your tickets and come straight to our box. Now, at this time, this is what's funny, Tora. At this time, there's a box seat and I'm getting free beers on this box, right? And I'm drinking. And a buddy of mine taps me on the shoulder and tells me, we got to get the fuck out. Is there something behind you?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, what do you mean? Yeah, yeah. Like an animal behind you, or
No, no, no.
don't look all worried there. I can't help you from over here.
He was just playing over there.
So yeah, we start drinking all these drinks, and then they tap me on the shoulder, and you're like, "Yo, you gotta go." Oh, it's so cute. Is that a baby? Yes, yes. So he's like, yo, we gotta go. And I said, well, what's going on? They're like, yo, those beers weren't free. So one of the guys we know popped the fridge door open and just started handing out beers like they were free. So now we're thinking we're gonna get arrested at this 50 Cent concert. So we had to get the fuck out of there before it ended. So that ruined my concert experience. But Mariah Carey, you got to help me out here, okay? Bamboo tells me that Mariah Carey can't sing and he's overrated. Can you please send him a message? I will clip this for Instagram. Can you please defend Mariah Carey? We are tired of arguing with him. Can you please do it for us?
Um, Autotune was not invented in the 90s, sweetheart. Listen to her 90s music. That is how she sounded.
Thank you.
Live action.
Thank you.
I've heard her sing a cappella in front of me.
Mm-hmm. See?
Of her body.
Thank you.
There's no lip sync. There's no way that she could have faked that coming out of her actual body.
Like Bam has brain damage. Leave him alone. He has brain damage. I have some of the weirdest arguments with him. He has brain damage.
Now, I should tell you, after 40 years of blowing her voice like that, now it's a little rough. And
Yes.
she has a little bit of outages. And what I mean by outages is her vocal cords are starting to what is it called? They're thinning.
Yeah,
So
I can see that.
older people their voice gets smaller, and then sometimes there's like space and like
Yeah.
when they almost whisper. So she's going through that. She's starting to approach a stage in her vocal career to where she has used her voice um amazingly, full
Mhm.
powered for 40 years. She's saying as a she's what, 50, she's almost 60 years old.
Imagine that.
So she's more than 40 years, because she was training and singing with her mom. Her mom's an opera singer. So she was
Wow.
probably 2, 3, 4 years old singing with her mom.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Now, when I turn 60, I'll bet you money my voice is going to be the same way. I'm going to have little outages in my voice. There's going to be notes I can't hit anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be able to do full chest voice, belting all that stuff out.
Just like a pro athlete, right?
Called aging, my bro. You're going to go through the same thing.
He's already old. That's why he's just bitter. Leave him alone.
Not an alien. You want her to be the alien, not age? Not like,
he's just a funny guy. We have him every time we have him on talking about some stuff.
Tell me.
He's just a funny character. We have the weirdest argument. Like the only time he gets passionate about things is like stuff like Mariah Carey can't sing, or one thing he was passionate about was like Little Nas X shouldn't have been in the same commercial as Sir Elton John. I'm like, why? He's like, just because they're both gay, he shouldn't be in his presence. I'm like, but they agreed to this commercial. It's not like they forced him down his throat. Like he gets these weird like. I couldn't tell you what he's thinking. Unless Bam is an alien himself, I don't know. But some of the arguments that we get on this show sometimes blows my mind. I just don't get it. But Tori, last time we talked, weren't you in a band?
I was sort of in a band, man. That was so short. It's like people can't stick around.
I can't.
We do a couple unpaid shows, not unpaid, but it's like, for tips or whatever.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, we're professional musicians and we need this fee. And it's like, well, if I'm not getting paid, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, expect me to like pay you. We're performing my music, my material, which is wanted by the venue.
That's right.
Walk home with at least $200-$300 in tips. If we do like an hour, 2 hours, it's like, and then you give up. There's no way we could build anything in order to make $1,000, $2,000 a night on a fee.
I agree.
So
bands for me are impossible. Are fucking impossible. You cannot for me. What's that?
I said freaking impossible, man.
Freaking impossible. You can't have everyone on the same page. It's hard to have a manager and an artist on the same page. Imagine having 3-4 other band members with you. That's what the fuck? Like, yo, we're performing on Saturday. One's going to say, I can't. There's always something that's up. And I'm always like, so when I see these bands that live forever, like the Rolling Stones or, stuff like that, you're just like, and they perform I'm like, damn, that's a lot of like work they might not agree on everything, but they still pull it off. Bands today, it's next to impossible to even get off the ground because everyone needs to be on the same page and have the same sacrifice.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's really about having the same sacrifice too. Like, people don't respect it. People don't respect it the same. And it's like some people have different expectations. Like, they're just not willing to do anything if they're not getting this fee.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I get it. Like, I don't like to perform for free. I'm like, this performance fee, you know what I mean? But if someone was like, hey, we want to book you for this event, we could offer you to have a tip jar. There's going to be 200-300 people there. Hell yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go new fans and try to make some tips. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember when I used to throw events, when I first met Bam, I used to have a music studio in 2005, and he rolled through our music studio. That's how him and I became friends. And I'd like to throw some local shows for some of the local guys that would promote my studio. Trust me, 9 out of the 10 shows I threw, people don't know this, it was negative dollars. Like, you pay for promotions. I don't like this mic. I'll rent one. The lighting sucks. I re-rent lighting. The venue's a few $100. You know what I mean? I have to pay for my little cover girl. I'll give her 80. If I don't give her $80, she'll rob me. So, so there's a bunch of fees. So once all the fees are all paid and then you throw this little event, I'm lucky if I'm negative $50, which is a successful show. It promoted my studio. So I remember asking Bam, hey, Bam, do you want to get on the showcase? Blah, 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 blah. And he's like, how much you going to pay me? Pull that. That's how we really met. And I'm like, pay you? And he goes, yeah. And I'm like, okay, but if I put Bamboo on my flyer, like, are people going to flock the doors? Because if that's the case, I'll pay you.
Right.
If that's the case, I'm in. Then he's like, well, it's my art and this and that. And then I made a deal with him. Why don't I give you a shitload of tickets you sell, and we'll split the ticket sales in half. You keep half, I'll keep half. But I still got to pay for all this shit that's over here, And he's like, no, not doing that. We still talk about that day. And he shows up to our event, pays cover. This is what blew my mind. And I'm like, why don't you just get up on stage, asshole? Like, he's like, nope, you got to pay for my art. And I was like, oh my God, man. That's how stubborn this man was. And not to be a jerk, a complete nobody in our own city. You know what I mean? Like nothing, no one knew who he was. I'm like, bro, like just get on stage. For me, when these guys are young enough to get on stage, I tell them, get on stage and practice your stage presence. Because there's nothing worse than trying to be big and then you get on stage and you look like a bozo up there. And then,
Right, which a lot of people, that's how it is.
you know, you made it big. All of a sudden, you know, you got a hit fucking single on Spotify. We fucking book you, and then you look like you don't even know how to move. No fucking contact with the audience.
Live, can't sing live, whatever.
Yeah, then you ruin the whole thing. Yeah, you studio's a lot different than a live show. Absolutely. Like there's guys I watched the opening acts, and I was just like, and I want to mind my own business. I'm all about minding my own. But there's times when I'm just like, I want to yell, engage with the crowd.
Right.
What are you looking at the side of the stage for? The crowd's over here, you know? So, and I asked some of the young guys, I'm like, do you have friends of yours that are bluntly honest with you? And they say no. They always say, oh, everything's all good. I'm like, you need that jerk off friend that
Right.
doesn't embarrass you, but pulls you aside.
Right.
You're like, oh, this doesn't look good, or try to do this. Don't embarrass you, pull you aside. You know what I mean? But no, all these guys like, no, everyone's all great. Everyone's all happy wearing their shirts and stuff. And it's like, and then you go back and I went to the second show and some of these guys performed the exact same way. There was no new material. There was the same stage presence. And I was like, fuck, I can't work with this. It's not my thing. But how, for instance, how would anyone, let's say if I wanted to book you, how would I do that?
Well, I mean, I since I'm independent, typically people just go through my DMs or email.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pay for your flight, pay for your hotel.
Yeah, right. Pay for everything. I have like a stipend that I ask for, but
Because today, my MC, the one that does the MCing with me, great, one of the best MCs I've seen in the business. He's my MC when I DJ, and he called me today, and he's just like, how do you like those guys that are throwing the events in Ottawa? And I was like, they're okay. You know what I mean? Like, and he's like, we should be doing those. That's what he said to me. He's like, we should be doing those. And I was like, you're right. You're right. And I was like, that's what I was thinking. If we threw events like that and we fly your ass in here to come help us perform, and that's what I'm thinking. This is something that I'm tired of. I took a huge step back from the whole promoting scene, thinking it was going to get taken over by younger lads and been done properly. And it's just the quality of it is just gone garbage. I don't know what the problem is. If you were throwing an event and you threw two events 1 month apart, would the opening acts be the exact same people?
it depends on if the event is the same event. Like if you're doing like a series, like say I have an event called Culture Shock that I did this month. Didn't know they would be different people every month. But if I have an event called Culture Shock that's this month, and then an event called Fuck You Fest the next month, it could be similar. But the two events I think would have to be two separate events. Like one's based on music and one's based on cannabis, or one. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
It brings a different crowd and a completely different.
Yeah, I see your point. Because the last two shows were about a month apart. There are two hip hop guys that came, and the opening acts, except one had added maybe three more. It was the exact same opening acts, and I kept looking at myself, being like, I don't know if you're thinking you're gonna draw their friends to buy the same amount of tickets 1 month later to see the exact same show. It's not gonna happen. Or if I'm the same guy that came and saw the one show a month ago, do I really want to see all the same opening act? That's the way I looked at it. I looked at it as a business level, and I looked at it as a person in the crowd. Would I, I'm like, oh, these guys again? Like, I don't know. I would have done that. I would have done things differently. That's all it was, So that's all. So these two singles, is this just you, no bands? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's just me, self-produced and everything. I have an album that I'm working on that's about to drop in maybe a couple to a few months.
Yeah.
That has a producer named Ben Hot Beats. That's gonna be about 10 songs. I'm not sure yet, but
nice. Look at you. I like that. Why is it that I'm seeing you motocrossing on Instagram? Why do you do that?
No, I just learned how to ride a dirt bike, and been watching the, you know.
Tora's coming out with an album, wants to come to Blues Fest. We try to get her up here. What is she doing? She wants to hurt herself on a dirt bike. What are you doing? Get off those things. I know you love that shit. I'm a pussy. That's why.
Yeah.
You're like, get on that thing. I'm like, no, I'm not getting on. No.
Yeah.
I injured myself in Cuba, by the way, in last April. Yeah.
Gosh, how?
Intoxicated, night one, tripped over the highest curb, tried to catch myself again, caught my foot in the high curb again, did a 360 ballerina, smashed myself into a pillar.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
I'm still injured to this day.
Wow.
Yeah, it was day one, like first day, like all week people are trying to shake my hands. I was like, don't touch me. Like I couldn't, you would have watched me put a shirt on. You would have laughed. I couldn't get a shirt on. It was pretty fucked. Yeah. I screwed myself up pretty good. Good times though. Good times. It was good times. You ever, are you guys allowed to go to Cuba? What's the story with you guys?
Yeah, we're allowed to go to Cuba now. I think it's kind of a recent happening, like a few years ago. I'm not really sure exactly, but I know we can now. But I know that it
I know
wasn't.
Bam is American, right? So he has an American passport, even though he comes and he lives up here now. He's like, I don't want to say he's a citizen, he's a resident. I don't know, something like that. But when he comes down, he has to go to a different line with us, right? And then they let him in right away. And then he skips the line, he goes in. And then he tells the Cubans that he's American, and you would be super surprised on the love he gets from them. Like you think that they, we've been inbred like, oh, the Americans and the Cubans and then it's like, nah, the love is like through the roof. And there's just like, and then Bam's like, well, I thought you guys didn't want us here. And they're like, no, you guys are not allowed to come here. We never said you can't come here. And it was like, wow, what a shock. Cause we've been told something different back home. Right. So it was super dope, man. They really, really love the Americans. Super surprisingly that they love the Americans out there. Super surprising. But it was a great time. There's this place called the Beatles Bar. I think you'd love it. Have you heard of this place in Veradero, Cuba?
I haven't.
It's in Veradero. It's downtown Veradero. It's an outdoor patio, and it's literally it's a cover band, and they play all classic rock music all night. And these guys are fucking phenomenal. Like super. And it's outside, free to get in, sit out on a patio, grab yourself a drink, and people it's super dope. It's super fun. Yeah. Yeah. Beatles Bar is definitely, it's one of those. And it's funny because when you look up the, how do you call it? The reviews on Beatles Bar, there's always people from the UK that go, they didn't play one Beatles song. It's like, it's just, that's what the bar is called. It's not, doesn't mean they're going to play Beatles. The UK always rag on that shit that they don't play any of it, right? I'm like, I thought too the first time I ever went that it was gonna be this little bar, played Beatles music, and we're gonna eat. But then when I got there, it was an outdoor patio with a stage, and they played no Beatles music. Which, don't get me wrong, I like Beatles, but I mean, all night would be a little much. But it was super dope. It was all classic rock stuff. Because everyone knows all the words to all those classic songs, right? Everyone from every country, so everyone's up there dancing and singing and stuff. But it's definitely a good thing. Super, super cool. Store, what else do you have? Do you have anything else going on lately? What's new with you? Two singles, an album. She learned how to do the mortar break.
Gosh.
Any new tattoos?
No.
No?
Surprising.
Surprising.
Just a lot of shooting, and photography for other people. Did some music videos.
Auditioning anywhere?
Say it again.
Any auditions?
No.
What? I gotta get my ass down to fucking Hollywood and kick some doors down for you. Like, only you would pick the hardest things in life to hit up, right? Well, that's another question I want to ask you. I'm always curious. Since you did the X Factor, are you allowed for some reason to join, like, let's say the Voice or some other show later on in life? Are you allowed to do that, or is it just because you did this one show?
I did do them.
Oh, you did do them?
Yeah. So the Voice was trash because when I tried to do the Voice, I had just had surgery on my arm, so I had like a cast on it, and there was something in the contract that said you're not allowed to have any kind of deformity, disability.
What?
I kid you not.
Get the fuck
I
out.
kid you not. And I was like, is this real? So if I was like disabled, these motherfuckers would turn me down because of that. Dude,
That is insane.
turned me down because I wasn't healed. They said, "Well, come back when you get your cast off."
What is it? What does that have to do with your singing?
Not a thing.
Wow.
Yep. So that was that, and then you know that Simon Cowell had told me to come back the next year, and the next year I had got signed, so I didn't come back. But after that, the following year, I had went to go apply again.
Yep.
And the ratings had dropped so far, I didn't think it was going to be on TV.
Oh shit. Okay.
And season before they shut it down and brought it back to the UK.
Wow.
So, and then America's Got Talent. America's Got Talent. That's a funny story because they were hitting me up around the same time that X Factor hit me up, and it was just right after X Factor hit me up, so it was just a little bit too late. Okay. And I told them I could do the next, like whenever I'm done with the X Factor thing, and I hit them up also when I was done, and they said to submit a video, and I did, and never heard anything. So
interesting.
Yeah. And then how Simon Cowell and Paul and all them, and Kelly Ripa, who said I was her favorite.
That's right. Yeah.
And then once it was all over, they acted like I never existed.
Why would they do that though?
All of them too. Every single one of them.
So you're my favorite, and then nothing happens. Drop you. No, who gives a fuck? No one cares.
I had to call the law team because years ago, back when they had the video, the X Factor audition video out, they taken it all off the internet for a minute, and I didn't know why, but they took it all down, and I couldn't use it. I didn't have it downloaded or anything. And I had to contact them and be like, dude, this is my only way that I have to like get anything good.
That's right. That's right.
And then they allowed me to repost it.
Wow, the balls.
It was really, I don't know if it's private or what, but then they like it came back. And they didn't even respond to me. They didn't say anything. It just came back.
I don't want to be a jerk, but I watch America's Got Talent, and I'm gonna sound fucking rude here, but is anybody American on that show?
Right?
I'm not trying to be a dickhead. I watch it like everyone else. No one can barely speak English on the show. No one's American anymore. It's like, oh, you're a refugee? We got a talent show for you. Like, I'm in shock. I'm just like, I don't want to. I'm like, am I the dickhead that thinks this? No one else is saying it. It's
funnier is that all these countries have their own Got Talent.
I was just
like, there's Got Talent, there's Russia's Got Talent, there's all India's Got Talent.
I don't know. I don't want to be a dickhead, but I watch these shows like everyone else going, cool, man. When's the American going to perform? I'm just wondering. We had a Canadian's Got Talent. So Howie's Canadian, and he ended up being one of the judges. It was probably the most embarrassing talent show I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, I was like, do I live in this country? Like, do I really? Like, what they were clapping for, it would be like an okay singer at the karaoke bar. Like, you're just like, fuck my life. I know for a fact I can find more talent in my city than I did throughout that whole fucking show.
Right.
I was embarrassed. Cardinal, as a judge, I was a bit embarrassed. I was like, God damn, can you please not air this? Like, I'm not from here, I swear. But I had a friend that did very well in the Canadian Idol. I think it was like top 6, top 8. And when she was done, a friend of mine goes, oh my God, you know this girl? I was like, yeah, I went to school with her. And he's like, yo, and that's when I owned a music studio. And this producer was there. He's like, can you please introduce me to her? I want to work with this girl. I said, absolutely. So I bring her in, they talk, they chat. And she said she couldn't do anything for like a year. She signed, when she hit the top 10, she had to re-sign another contract saying she couldn't use her name, not even like the .com, nothing for a year. Does that happen to people down there?
Yeah, that happened to me for X Factor, and that was the first time I contacted the law team because I was like, I can't do anything. I need you to release me. And they were They released me. They were very, very nice about it. You know what I mean? They were very giving. But I was 10 years locked down. Would have been 10 years locked down.
10 years. Holy fuck.
And they
Oh.
everything that you do.
What, 10 years. So they really
Uncommercial. I would have to pay them 10% of what I get paid.
that's bananas.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, 10 years. So they literally want you to be forgotten completely and then start over. Because like let's be honest, when we first got you on the show, you know, like Tora from the X Factor, like you're promoting the show still. Like it's a great honor to be on the show. It's still a push for the show. You're always gonna have that. It's always gonna be tied in with you.
Right.
Why hold you down about that? Like why not be a I don't know. I don't know. It's disgusting. The entertainment industry is disgusting. I couldn't believe the 1 year. She's like, I can't do anything for 1 year. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then obviously we gave her a beat to work with, and then she had another producer that didn't want her to work with us. And we're like, yo, we're not fighting over people because you guys are, you know what I mean. They don't want to be like, oh no, the hating kicks in between producers, and she's like, well, my producer wants to. I said, hey, work with whoever you want, hands up. Now she's like a mom at home doing nothing, never sung again. But shit happens. You know what I mean? It's a tough industry and I get it. But the 1 year thing, I believed it. I just was wondering if that happened to you down here. Now 10 years, that's so 10%. So whatever you would have done, it would have been 10%.
Mm-hmm. Of everything.
Did you know this before you went on X Factor, or is it something you know after?
I knew. I mean, you don't get trapped. If you know how to read a contract, they can't trap you.
True.
You can say no. You don't have to sign that contract. That's on you. You know what I mean? So, it's just, you read the contract, you read the fine print.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot it's a long contract. It's very, very wordy and very lawyer. So it's very, like, it's hard to read. Hard to read. And it was actually, if I were to make it to the live shows one more round, I would have had 10%, 10 years on me. So right before that, they still had my likeness. I don't remember how long it was. It might have been for a couple of years, but it was a long time to where I had to ask them to release me. But there's a fine print in those contracts that say you can request to be released prior to the end of that term, or whatever the terminology is, whatever the wording they use. But if you know how to read that and you know how to understand that's what it says. Yeah. No. Oh, hey, I just have to send a letter. It doesn't even have to be formal. Say, hey, can you release me? I can't do shit.
Fuck you. That's what it is.
Yes, they just did it. They didn't even know, they just did it.
So now, okay, so if you won X Factor that season, what would you have won?
Oh gosh, nothing I wanted. A $5 million recording contract.
Okay.
But fine print. If that record doesn't go platinum, in a certain amount of time, you owe all that money back.
What do you mean? What? You know you were spending that money.
Recording contract. So they give $5 million to your career. Here's your single. Here's your album. Here's a duet with Elton John. Here's all the recording. Here's the tour. Here's the merch.
And you got to recoup
$5 million right there.
Damn.
Doesn't go platinum and your single doesn't make that, you don't have to recoup it. And that's where they trick you, because they're like, it's not a $5 million recording contract. It's $5 million and a recording contract. But you're gonna have a bill for all that shit, because that recording contract doesn't include any of that.
That's right.
It includes the distribution deal and the marketing behind it. It doesn't include recording and everything that you would have to pay for in order to be an artist. You know what I mean? Your rent, your even though you'd be giving full time to these people, they give you a stipend, but they don't pay your rent. And what is a stipend? I got $200 for a week and a half in London. 200 US dollars for a week and a half in London.
And London's pounds, by the way, so that's fuck all.
All that myself. They paid for the hotel because the travel was paid for through
Yeah.
X Factor. But I had to pay for food and everything else. I had to take care of all the bills that were sitting at home that I wasn't working for because I wasn't getting.
That's right. That's right.
So I had all these bills just stacked up, chilling.
It's so true.
When you gonna pay me, bruh?
Yeah. My God. Because a friend of mine about 10 years ago, we were watching America's Got Talent, some shit like that. And the credits kick in, right? And there's a bunch of fine print on the TV, for a second. And he pauses it. And he goes, read that. And it was like, the winner gets X amount of dollars for X amount of years. So when you win the job in Vegas, you're really just winning a paycheck.
Right.
And I was like, yo, they said it's like $1 million. It is $1 million, but it's your job. It was literally X amount of like 50 grand over. It's like, you don't really win the $1 million. You just win a job that's worth $1 million.
Right. Exactly.
And you're sitting there going, holy shit, what else? Everything has to be like this. Like everything, And what is it like in the States? So you win a big sum of money. You have to pay taxes on it too, no?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
You better take half of that money and put it away.
Gross.
Hating, they're evil, especially, and it depends on where you win that money. What state are you in?
That's right.
Evil, dude. And some states are cool, but some states they'll rip you a new one. And don't win a car. Win a car, but don't win a Ferrari.
Oh, it's game over. You have to pay taxes on it too, or what?
You better sell that shit.
I've been trying to. I want to interview someone that won on The Price is Right. I have so many questions for them.
Yeah.
I want someone that won the showcase. I need to know. You know what I mean? They're like, you won a hot tub. I'm like, what if you live in a goddamn apartment? Like, you know what I mean? Like, do they give you cash for that hot tub? They have to give. They have to write something off. They just can't give it to you and be like, go to the nearest pawn shop with that shit or something. Like, I'm always curious on that. What happens to that stuff? Or pay us X amount of dollars and we'll release all these gifts to you. I don't know. There's always something that's, it's up someone's sleeve. There's no way that the game show or the entertainment industry is just going to let you be the one on top. It's impossible. Completely impossible. Have you heard any good stories about any of these shows in total, like in general? Like
No. I mean, Kelly Clarkson did an interview about how if she could go back and change the way she got famous, she would have never done American Idol.
Imagine that.
Shit for 10 years, dude.
Yeah.
They owned her likeness. They owned everything for 10 years. And when she got released off that contract, literally 10 years later, that's when she did that interview. And she talked about her experience. She was like, I would take it all back.
In American Idol, so in your show X Factor, how was the voting system? Was it judges or was there people phoning in, like for instance, like American Idol?
So it's mixed. I don't think there was a phone in. I don't remember really how the America voting worked. I don't remember that. But there was like when most of the time it was the judges. Okay. Like the first audition, that was all the judges. It's kind of like American Idol where they give you the golden ticket. Like
okay.
They say, and then the next round, what was that? We went to boot camp after that, which was that week. It was like a week and a half long. Not the one when we went to London, but the one where we were in Cali and it was like boot camp, and it was like the Brian Friedman, Britney Spears, and Justin Timberlake's old choreographer came and did some work with us, and we did a bunch of. I want to say there were 4 rounds of elimination during boot camp. There was one show where there was a crowd. I don't remember if they voted. I do remember, and it could have been hidden from us because we did our performance, went to the back room, and waited like 4 hours. We had no idea what was going on stage. I mean, they were auditioning more like processing, people, but at the same time, not that many. And boot camp, I think we went to boot camp with 200 people. Out of the whole entire United States of America, they narrowed down to 200 people, sent them to boot camp. And out of that, I think it was 30 people who ended up going to judges' houses round, which is when we went to London and
Okay.
Paris.
Yeah.
Um, so, but I think that there might have been a crowd voting during boot camp round. It was just there was, and that's part of what X Factor was all about. Um, but aside from who it was about,
Yeah.
what it was about the challenge, challenging that person,
Okay.
and um, they really, really saw how far people can go, to the point to where legal lines were crossed. Um,
Wow.
dancing for 9 hours straight with no water, and I was the one, I put my foot down and I was like, we need what, after a 13-year-old kid was throwing up in a trash can.
Jesus Christ.
I was like, who else isn't gonna do shit until they get water? And I said, fuck this company.
Yeah.
Crazy. I brought my own water. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I bring this shit everywhere I go. I just do. It's how I'm wired. But it seemed like there were a couple people with their little bottles and stuff, but that was gone. Like, people drank their shit 9 hours. It was all day. We were rehearsing and
Fuck.
dancing.
Worse
High
than an NFL camp.
beers on stage. And at the end of the day, performed the dance in front of the judges. And that was probably the craziest moment of X Factor, was that, and that's when I realized, wow, they're gonna go to the ends of everything to challenge us. They don't care about any kind of labor, any kind of nothing.
Mm-hmm. Now,
Push us to the end.
I'm going to be a
And
jerk and say who won that season, and have they done anything?
okay, this is even sadder. Sadder story.
Oh, gee, I'm so sorry.
Um,
Sorry, people. I'm not trying to make a sad story here, but
Melanie Amaro won that season. She had an amazing. So she was a really great singer, like Mariah Carey type of like church kind of voice.
okay.
She was a bigger girl. Everybody talked a lot of shit about her image. It was really sad. Um, and so there was a lot of fight for her because we were talking about how it's about the X Factor. It's not about what you look like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She didn't dance. She couldn't dance or do anything like that. She wasn't a writer. She was 19.
Well, okay.
She was working at Whataburger, and I think it was like Sunrise, Florida, or something, some kind of in Florida, some little town in Florida. And she was really great, and she won her. And so crazy story in between all this, little side story. You remember Tia Tolliver? Her and Tia Tolliver. So Tia loves Nicki Minaj, and um, the other girl did not. They almost got into a physical altercation about it.
No way.
And me and my friend Simone Battle, God rest her, is not alive anymore, but we were laughing hysterically at this, and we were both like put our phones up and started recording them. We thought it was just the funniest thing. They were fighting over Nicki Minaj because the other girl didn't think she was cool, and she was like, oh, like, and so pissed. She was so hurt. She was like, what? Why don't you? She was so hurt. But anyways, back to the story. So she won X Factor. It was really sad what they did to her because, well, it was cool for a hot second because she got that little Pepsi commercial with Elton John, and
Okay.
it was great. I mean, who
Mhm.
wouldn't want a Pepsi commercial with Elton John?
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? So that was really cool to see her do that. And then, she went in the studio, started sitting down with the writers who were writing her record for her. Um, tell me why this shit came out sounding like a Katy Perry bubblegum pop. Uh,
No.
so much auto tune on this poor girl's voice.
No.
Her voice, she sounded, she had perfect pitch. If you look up this girl
I
and
will.
look up her videos of her singing live, she had an amazing voice. It was literally like, all those church, those
Yeah.
women grew up singing in the church, very powerful, very soulful. They took the soul and the power right out of her voice, and they wrote these weird ass songs that did not show her range. Um, you can listen to it. I think there's on Spotify.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
I think she's still releasing music. She's still trying, but I had seen quite a while back that she was like somebody was congratulating her on getting promoted as a manager at Whataburger.
Just to show you, you could
So,
win a major television singing competition, and nothing can come out of it.
and I know that I don't know. I lost my train of thought.
It happens. It happens.
It's a lot. It's a lot, and it's like thousands and thousands of artists get trapped in this every day.
Yes.
Disappear. You never hear have you heard Melanie Amaro? That name, like
It
nobody
sounds familiar, but I don't.
nobody that I would say that name to right now has, and I can't say that they would know my name, but that's the same thing. Nobody
Yeah.
knows my name, knows her name. We were both so big on the show. I was America was so pissed that I got
You
voted off
had not only.
down, and they had to leave America. So it's like,
You had
know
the
what
greatest look on that show, by the way, too. You know that.
say it again.
You had the greatest look too. Like the way
Oh.
you came on stage, we know it's you. Like that look is phenomenal. That look was phenomenal. But yeah, no, it's sad to say. It's just to show you. We'll remember the show X Factor, but we can't barely remember who the hell was on it. And they should
Right.
do. I just don't get the reasoning. I guess I know it's television ratings and shit's more important than obviously your music career to them. But what I wanted to ask you was like a show like American Idol, when it is phone voting, do you have trust in that type of voting, or is it still bullshit in your case? But as in your opinion, it's not facts. We're not speaking facts because we don't know. But
I mean, if you remember, there was a lot of controversy when that was going on in the beginning because there wasn't a way to monitor how many times people were calling in and voting.
oh yes,
And so it was almost like you could have like one of those text apps or something, and you
like
can
a
just
generator.
no, like one of those text apps where you can have like a temporary phone number.
Yes.
You can have
Oh
that's
yes,
temporary phone numbers, call in from all those numbers. You know what I mean?
that's
So
right.
it's like, it was hard to really legitimately monitor that. It's really, how do you monitor that?
I always found it was always like, oh, come and vote in, and I'm always going, this is full of shit too. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I just found with these systems are just kind of broken at the end of the day. It's like,
Yeah.
now what if? And I told you, I remember there was a DJ competition, not a DJ, sorry. It was a wedding award. Okay. I used to DJ in the club. I DJ'd some weddings. And this guy goes, listen, you've been nominated 2 years in a row for this award. And I said, listen, I don't want to become or known as a wedding DJ. So I refused to even be nominated for this award. And he goes, oh, it'd be great for your business. It'll be great for you. Be great for the thing, blah, blah, blah. I said, but how do you win these awards? And he turns around and he says, by voting. I'm like, but how do you know if I'm good or not? Like, you can be just popular and vote and win. It doesn't mean that you're the best on this ballot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So, and that's how I felt with American Idol also. It's like, okay, even if these phone numbers were legit, is it really something that really counts? Are we really getting the best? Are we really getting,
Exactly.
some people are like, oh my God, I like this, this was a little cuter, or this one's funnier. Oh my God. Are we really getting talent, or are we just voting for whatever? Or what if you have a family of 100? You know what I mean? Like, who knows? Like, stuff like that. It's just, and don't get me wrong. I can't tell you how to find a solution for it. But when I used to see those call in and vote in, I used to always be like, oh, here we go. This is all fucking bullshit anyways. That's how I felt, right? They're going to pick whoever they want through. If you think the election ballots are, rigged, let's think about American Idol here. Yeah, I think it'd be a lot easier to rig. That's all I'm saying, Like, push this one through. You know what I mean? That's crazy though. Do you watch or follow any of these shows still, or?
I don't. My mom likes to. You're right about the rigging thing, however, because when I was doing X Factor and I had quickly found out that during the judges, like before even the judges round, they knew who they wanted to win.
Of course.
So they forced that to happen. You know what I mean? Like it was just they made it happen.
It's a
So it's
participation thing. You know, call in and vote. You feel like you're a part of the show, like you're making a goddamn difference. I just don't think you are. That's all. I was just like, whoever's gonna win is gonna win. You know, when it gets to the top 10, I have an idea. They know who they want through. It's probably who's the yes man of the business, right?
Yeah.
You give someone anybody a hard time, you're not putting your ass through. It's just the way it is. That's in every job. Or you know what I mean? I pushed back on my last job, and it's hard to the best. I thought I was probably one of the best workers there, and they were just like, "You're the first one to be laid off. You're a headache." You know what I mean? I get it, but at the end of the day, it's like good luck working with these guys now. You know, but I just always found it was a little rig. It's just nice to see, like, you know what I mean? Because I'm always, every time we have a chat, I'm always like, I have more questions, and I'm so happy you take the time to answer them for me. But
Yeah.
I always like someone else's opinion that's actually been on the inside. You know, I can assume all I want on the outside, but yeah, the rigging thing, and like you said, I didn't even know who the winner was of your season, and to see that she's still making music and nothing really came out of it. Do you recommend anybody in the future to participate or try to do these shows, or what's your advice for these people?
I mean, there's a fine line because it's a very good experience. It's a very good experience to be able to perform in front of a large amount of
That's very
people,
true.
and in front of professionals, you know, who have been in the industry their whole lives and made it to the top. So, I would have never taken back my experience. I didn't get locked down. I didn't get, you know what I mean? And it's just a matter of knowing how you're moving throughout this type of experience. You got to know you have to know what to sign and what not to sign, and you have to know how to read your contracts. That's it.
That's cool. That's good and good advice. Yeah, because you don't want to be tied in or nothing. Don't sign anything. Don't. Yeah, get someone to overlook your shit for sure. Because
Yeah.
like you said, Tora just said, like 10 years being locked down on something, that could ruin your shit. That could really ruin you moving forward, or trying to do something with your life, which is, and let's be realistic. The entertainment business is hard enough. Like you need to make it any harder on yourself, right? So it's pretty fucking crazy. It's pretty crazy. So do you have a name for your album that's coming out?
I don't yet. I'm still kind of like sitting on that. I'm not really sure. There's a lot of like it's a lot because it's
Yeah.
kind of about it's kind of about the last year of my life and me being you know, quitting drinking and being soberish, Cali sober, whatever. And like everything that I went through emotionally, um, physically, you know, during that, and kind of what led up to that.
Oh, it's gonna be.
So
It'll
it
be
kind of
dope.
it has a lot to do with romance because once you like keep getting hurt over and over and over again, it's like eventually it's gonna change you. You
Oh
know what I mean?
yeah,
And it's gonna start making you do different things.
yeah.
So like it's kind of all of that. It's the gear up to the breakdown.
Oh, okay. I'm excited for that. And you're still participating. I see you with a lot of these cars, pictures of you in cars, and you teamed up with somebody. Tell me more about that.
Well, I just that's my little baby Monocore.
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of after I quit drinking, I just kind of wanted some, I don't know, just some other things to really get into. I'm kind of like an introvert and I can be a little antisocial and like I'm a Cancer, so I crawl into a shell and it's really hard for me to get out.
Okay.
I
So
was
you're
like,
finding something else, that you're breaking out of that shell by
get out
finding
there,
something.
and I need to just be able to not have that weird thing holding me back. That's
Okay.
kind of, you know, of course I've been outgoing and all of that, but it's really like the alcohol that has helped me to be that person. So I quit drinking and I got all fucking shy again and shit.
Trust
And
me,
I'm
I'm a
anywhere. I don't be surrounded by a crowd of people. Like I'm not a social butterfly anymore, and I just I need help with that. I need help getting back into that without thinking that like it's
Yeah.
gone because I don't drink anymore. You know what I mean?
I'm always been loud and an extrovert, but I mean the alcohol like times it by tens. Like Like,
Right.
yeah, I'm like, it's pretty, it's bad. It's bad, but it's good. Like, I'm not a terrible drunk. I am the funniest or I have the greatest time. But when you're walking around a resort the next day and everyone's waving at you and you're like, who the fuck are these people?
Right.
And you're like,
Exactly.
hey, and you're like, what the hell? And then people are at the breakfast like, hey, how are you doing? You're like, I didn't talk to you, I think. You know what I mean? But you know what? I quit January and I was going away in April. And I was like, I do like drinking and I do like having a good time. But I said, you know what? I'm not having a drink till I go out on vacation. So I start to give myself boundaries on not every weekend or every Friday or, or someone's
If I
birthday.
Grammy, I'm like I might have like some top shelf scotch,
Yeah.
little, but like I'm not ever gonna drink again.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So if we go out and they buy you drinks, you say yes and you just pass them over to me, all right?
So sloshed.
Just pass them over to me. Because I had a rookie friend, James, my MC, when we went to the Slick Rick concert and the promoter brought us down and he asked me and my buddy DJ Elon and James, like, do you guys want a beer and a shot? And we said, yeah. And James goes, no, I don't drink. And then I looked at him like, oh, what about me? So
Right.
Elon grabs the drink and shots and he passes it over to me. And I'm like, this is not a rookie. You're a rookie. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. So later on the show, I'm just looking, I'm like, would another beer be so good right now? And he's like, I'm sorry. Just pass it over to me. Just say yes. Look like that and pass that over to me, though. It would be great. But yes, definitely. I am looking at doing some shows down here. My partner, my partner in crime, my MC wants to do that. That's something I'm going to be looking to. You were one of the first people that came to mind to come perform up here too. So it is something I'm going to be wanting to work at. But since we mentioned Blues Fest, let me reach out to who runs it down here, and I'll pass them your information. We can try and go from there.
Yeah, thank you.
And please, don't be shy. You always pass me your stuff, and when your album's out, let me know. We'll help promote that stuff too. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Tora, thank you so much.
yes.
I love the insider stuff. I love how you're real. I wouldn't want it any other way. Congratulations on not drinking. I'm gonna give that a shot sometimes. But don't forget, pass those drinks to me if you refer around. Thank you so much, and have yourself a good night. Thank you, man.
too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.